Hello. Today's quick YouTube video, I guess, is obviously going to be a Storytime Sunday, which for the most observant of you and I guess keen supporters will realise that it's not a Sunday and I've effectively missed the Storytime Sunday. But as I've said a lot of times, it's not. I'm studying at university, and so obviously, I get busy at times and blah blah blah. I'm just doing it now because I may as well, and obviously the Storytime Sunday gives me a really good idea of what I'm going to do for this video, because I'm just going to talk about the story. Today's story will be, I'm going to call it New York 2 probably, because I just thought of a recent story that is sort of in the New York holiday that I went on with my dad. And obviously the first one was talking about how I saved, from a possible life-threatening event, my father and myself's life. I don't know why I said father. I'm getting nervous now. And actually to relax and do the video. I saved our lives because I needed to go to the toilet, and so we went to Starbucks, and there was a shooting outside the Empire State Building, and thankfully we evaded that, which, could have been bad. Only the gunman, and the person that the gunman shot were killed. But a lot of bystanders were obviously shot by the police. Obviously they don't get a good rep in America. But they were sort of like freshly trained police, and so obviously they weren't experienced, so they didn't know how to handle the situation. Obviously they saw this guy with a gun, so they decided to shoot him, and it just went a bit wrong. I sort of do and have used that story to sort of be like, oh, I'm British, you want to hear my experience with the American police, especially with all the, stuff about the Black Lives Matter protests and everything about the police being awful, which obviously, makes sense. And so I used to always tell that story, but it might not necessarily be fair because obviously they were new police officers. But obviously if we were there, if we even not have died by getting shot, but if we got shot, we'd be wheeled off to a hospital in America because we'd been shot. And then God knows how that would have happened. Obviously I imagine we had travel insurance, but it's just not ideal, is it? And then at the end of this video, I'm going to talk about what I normally talk about, which is all about how I'm doing the YouTube channel, the daily videos, which obviously haven't been daily the last couple of days because I've missed 2 days, I guess, because I missed the Saturday and I missed, obviously, the Storytime Sunday, which I'm doing now, which I'm going to talk about in a bit, but I'm going to talk about the story now. So obviously it's a continuation of that holiday, the New York story. And so obviously one day, for instance, we were living in, and by living I mean, obviously we're on holiday, so we were in a hotel. It was a Holiday Inn on Lafayette Street. Sorry, that wasn't me. I need to stop doing that. And I want to say this Holiday Inn was probably in Manhattan because it just, it was sort of like, it's definitely on Manhattan, but I think it was, I don't know I can't imagine it was downtown, but I think it was sort of, let me know in the comments if you know exactly where the Holiday Inn on Lafayette Street, or if you know where Lafayette Street is in New York, Manhattan. If you're that bothered and interested by this video, but thank you. I'm probably going to quickly look it up at the end of this video. And so the story was, so did I just mention Brooklyn? So this is the one day I didn't mention Brooklyn. But the reason I said where the Holiday Inn was is because obviously we weren't in Brooklyn then. And I can't imagine a lot of tourists to New York would stay in Brooklyn. And so, we went on the stay to Brooklyn of one of the days that we went around New York. So like one day we go around all the Manhattan skyscrapers, which obviously takes up like a whole day because it's a lot. And then there was the one day that we went to New York. Brooklyn. Anyway, so we cross over the Brooklyn Bridge, great walk, that's amazing, 10 out of 10, 100% recommend, because obviously it's a famous bridge and stuff, and there's lots of things to see. I think there's always this one guy that sells water on it, but that's probably in the summer. But I think he's sort of famous because he's always there. So we crossed the Brooklyn Bridge, and then obviously that goes from Manhattan to Brooklyn, so we're in Brooklyn now. And we go to see, I think the only thing my dad had planned that we could have seen, apart from obviously just Brooklyn and what it's like, which I can't even remember now, but it seems mad to think that I've walked around Brooklyn in New York. Like, that's the place that the Beckhams named their kid after, which isn't New York, which I incorrectly said whilst watching the chase. It was what was the first name of what was the name of the first Posh and Beck's child that's a borough of New York, and I went, New York, and I just got confused. And if some people do that on the show, I have a massive go at them, so I don't know why I'm doing that. So, hand on heart, I'm sorry for that. That was a bad tangent. Anyway, so we went to this Brooklyn ice cream factory, which is quite cool. It's very chill as well. Like, the people were all sort of... actually, I won't badmouth them in case this gets back to them. But I feel like it was sort of owned by these sort of, like, kids, or if it was set up by them and sort of like an impromptu startup business. And they were all just, chill, like... I'll say, like, one of them was, probably on, like, some stairs on his phone. But, it wasn't busy. There was just, like, a couple of people in there. Obviously, my dad and myself. And there was 2 Chinese tourists, 2 women. And so obviously, all the people are all chilled there, and I'm setting the scene. It was sort of like a renovated warehouse or church or something. There was big, like, windows. And I just remember, obviously, as a father and son are going to be on holiday with each other, there's going to be, like, friction or whatever. But it's generally just me waffling like this, and I'm talking to him about something. And he's getting a bit exasperated. He's like, oh, yeah. And he just turns to these 2 Japanese women and goes, child, you want child? I sell child to you? And they go, oh, no. And that's basically the story. It's quite a good little joke that I've thought that if I ever did stand-up, I would engineer in there. And I've got one other little story about New York. Which one was it? Oh, yeah. About a McDonald's. So that'll probably turn up as well. And I was thinking that I'd do a little sort of trilogy of the 3 stories that I can remember at least for TikTok, of which TikTok's going quite well right now. And I'm going to talk about, as I mentioned before, the next videos that I'm going to upload, which I'm probably going to upload like, 3 today, just so I've, fulfilled that daily video quota, which obviously I've missed the last 2 days. And I've always thought that I've got one easy video to make at the end of January, which, if you can imagine from knowing that I made my 2020 TikTok compilation and put it on YouTube, just because it's a showcase of all my videos that have done well and that I've enjoyed making, that I'm proud of, I guess. So at the end of January, I'm going to do a January TikTok compilation. And obviously, February one, a March one, and April, May, June, July, August, September. And then so for each one. And it's a really good opportunity for me to, 1, put them on YouTube, upload them, as sort of my portfolio, I guess, for video making. Not cinematography per se, but, sketches and how I've used trends to make a video better necessarily. I think I might make general ones in the January one, and then for other easy videos I can make, I can do sort of like, like FIFA card ones, because I've done a lot of reviews or stories about FIFA cards. Obviously, if you don't like FIFA, then that's fine, but I try to, as I always say, tell something that someone might not necessarily enjoy in a way that they can enjoy it. So sort of my experience with FIFA, and basically, as I did in a previous Storytime Sunday, I talked about my experience with Foot Champs, which is like the most competitive aspect of FIFA at the moment. It's the one that all the pro FIFA players come from. If they do really well, they get picked up by teams and stuff, just because they see them on the leaderboards and they think, well, this guy can play FIFA. And people get careers from that and whatever. So that's why it's interesting. and obviously I made that video, but it's me talking about how, you know, how badly I've done at a video game. So it's interesting to people who don't like FIFA. And yeah, and so I'll do a Star Wars compilation as well, because obviously I make a lot of Star Wars videos as well, and I don't think I need to explain anything else, and I'm worried that because I've left my phone on low power mode that it's going to have stopped recording, but it should have enough battery and storage space, so I'm just going to make sure and leave it here. So thank you for watching the video. Obviously I'm going to upload other ones, as I said. Thank you for watching.